ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Common Man Show, coming to you from the inner sanctum sanctorum here in Austin, Texas, and brought to you, folks, brought to you by The Scoop in El Paso. The Scoop in El Paso is El Paso's one-stop website to help you find out the what, when, and where of El Paso. It's a site managed by El Pasoans for El Pasoans. And folks, we are very glad to be here with you guys tonight. Happy 4th of July, and I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Folks, this is going to be a special program because it's going to be mostly a patriotic program. We're going to be talking about the good stuff that's going on in the United States today. And folks, I want to thank Madison Rising because they were, the music that you heard at the beginning, we played that song from beginning to end. We wanted to do that because Madison Rising is pretty damn good band. I'll tell you that much right now. They're pretty damn good. And what's going on with them right now is that they have a challenge because they there's people that have complained, as we talked about previously, about the Star Spangled Banner. And we had a couple of people. We had one person, I think that was on Current TV, that was kind of saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe, it's not patriotic. The Star Spangled Banner is not patriotic," and blah blah blah. Started going off on his whatever rant, thinking that it wasn't a good thing. But people, we've had great renditions. The best one that I've seen so far of the Star Spangled Banner was actually by Whitney Houston. And I think in El Paso, the KISS crew on Facebook actually posted their video of Whitney Houston singing the Star Spangled Banner, and it was just a phenomenal rendition. Let me just tell you that much right now. And Madison Rising has done a different version of the Star Spangled Banner, which, if you guys heard it, it got you kind of all the juices flowing, that you're just like, God dang, that's just beautiful. And folks, it's just a phenomenal thing. And we asked for permission to play that song here on the Common Man Show. They said, "Hey, yeah, do it. Just go ahead and give us props." And we're going to try to give them as much props as possible here on this program. Obviously, when you saw the beginning of the program, you saw some images that the music was brought to you by Madison Rising. In fact, if you see right here, we have this logo right here. It says music sponsored by Madison Rising. And if you go to Facebook, you can actually find them. Do a search on Facebook.com and do a search on from Madison Rising. Great music, and it seems like they're like a great group of folks. And I'm hoping, if they're listening, that one of these days they tweet me back and they say, "Hey, let's talk," because I would love to have them on this program, either on this one or on our program on All Digital Radio, just to talk about the challenge that they have going on. Because if you follow them on Twitter, they kind of poke fun of one of the gentlemen that I can't remember his name now. Like I said before, we had a person that was complaining about the Star Spangled Banner not being patriotic enough, and then Daniel Tosh was arguing, "Hey, well, nobody has Star Spangled Banner on their iPhone or iPad or whatever the heck that he was doing." And there's some people that do. I even have it on my Android, folks. I have it on my Android, and that's where we played that song. I have it on my iTunes, and I have it on my Android. So even when I'm walking around doing stuff at work or doing whatever I'm doing, I can say, take a look, listen to this stuff. Now, folks, let me finish gushing about Madison Rising, okay? But let me tell you where you can find the Common Man Show. Obviously, if you're on Ustream, you have found us. You can also find us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Common Man Show. Click on the like button, and we will post. We're posting some pretty good stuff today because it's 4th of July, and we want to do some very patriotic stuff, and we're going to be talking about some of those items. You can also find us on Twitter. Go to twitter.com/Gabriel Nila, which is your host here, or you can even do, if you're on Twitter, just type in Gabriel Nila, you'll be able to find me. And also, we have a website, which is thanks to our sponsor, The Scoop in El Paso, which we have a nice little logo here for them as well, which you get to know the what, when, and where of El Paso. It's a site by El Paso, for El Paso. Just phenomenal stuff, folks. You can't say enough about what they're doing over there. But if you go to thecommonmanshow.com, we're posting our audio formats of The Common Man Show, which you can also find there. You can also find it on Facebook, and you can also find us on a couple of different areas. If you have a mobile device, you can, if you have an iPhone or iPad, you can download the podcast version, just go to the iTunes store and type in The Common Man Show. You'll be able to subscribe to it absolutely free. And if you have Stitcher Radio, folks, Stitcher.com. Go to Stitcher Radio where you can find thousands, folks, thousands of programs at your disposal. It's like a one-stop shop of audio. And we're there too. Type in The Common Man Show, do a search for us, and you'll be able to find us there. We even post that information on our fan page where you can go on there, make us one of your favorites. And you can listen to the program every single time we upload a program onto Stitcher, and they can do all the fun stuff there. You can also find us on SoundCloud. Go to soundcloud.com, another phenomenal site that just has a whole bunch of great stuff out there. I mean, it's great music, great podcasts, great programs. You know, let me tell you exactly what I like to do. When I go to listen to stuff, there's a few different people that I like to listen to. There's Creating Sparks. Brian Sparks out in Minnesota, I believe, if that's where he's at, does some really great interviews on comedians, musicians, and all the like. You're going to love the stuff that he does there. You can also find The Gentleman's Club with Caleb Bacon. And you can't go wrong with a name like with Caleb Bacon. You can find Proudly Resents with Adam Spiegelman. And on iTunes, I like to download the Michael Show podcast out of California. Great stuff. I just got to tell you that. I mean, there's a few other people that I like to listen to, like Tiny Odd Creations. We talked to Travis Clark, who's the host, or the co-host, I believe, because him and his wife do the program on iTunes, or they download it on iTunes, and they have Tiny Odd Creations. And then we also have the BS Podcast, which have their own site. And I can't remember the site name, but if you do a Google search, you'll be able to find the BS Podcast, and I think it's bspodcast.webs.com, I believe. I can't remember the exact name on there. But Isaac and Ruben, just great stuff over there. Now, folks, because this is a patriotic program, we are going to be talking mostly on patriotic stuff. Now, if you saw the intro to the program, you saw some images that we had on here, and in fact, I'm going to bring them up. We have some individuals, and we wanted to bring this to light because the president did some great stuff today. Before he went out, I believe, to Paris to talk to people asking for money for his campaign, here's a couple of images of some people that became U.S. citizens today. They became naturalized citizens. And there's a series of people there that came out. And the president was there. Janet Napolitano, I believe, was the person that swore them in as being U.S. citizens to America. So we welcome them today, of all days, the 4th of July, the Day of Independence. And we thank them for their service. We thank them for them doing what they did in order to earn the right. And they earned the privilege of being United States citizens. And we can't thank them enough for all the stuff that they did. Now, why do they do this today? Because it's great. It's 4th of July. Hey, why not? Why not be able to say, I became a U.S. citizen on the 4th of July? Now, these people were foreign immigrants, or they were foreign nationals who had legally been authorized to come to the United States, and apparently they owned property here. You know, they had a house or something like that, and they joined a service, and they served in the military, where they became prominent people. And now that they're U.S. citizens, they have the opportunity to do even better and be able to serve their country even more and earn higher ranking within the United States military. So we've got to congratulate them. We've got to congratulate all naturalized citizens who became citizens today and any other time. We've got to thank them and welcome them with open arms, because they're just doing some great work, and they have joined the ranks of us U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents who are enjoying the benefits of being identified as Americans. Just phenomenal stuff. And you've got to, in spite of all the politics, that's going on, you just got to step back every once in a while and just say, I don't care what's going on politically. Yeah, we've got some really pretty bad stuff going on. But what they're doing today is some pretty damn great stuff. And this is one of those exact moments. And of course, we had this event where the president had his moment where he was talking and doing his thing and welcoming them to the United States. And of course, we had Mitt Romney, who's the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, who was at a parade at his hometown in Maine, I believe, doing his spiel, joining the parade, talking and walking and saying hi and everything else. We had other politicians doing the exact same thing also. Ted Cruz, who I actually, here in Texas, who I like listening to. He just seems like a regular Joe. He's an attorney for all intents and purposes, but he was out there, and we had other politicians. I believe in El Paso we had DeMargo, we had Barbara Carrasco, and probably Beto O'Rourke and a few other people that were doing their part to celebrate Independence Day here. Now, we want to continue on with the patriotic feel and talk about the great stuff that was going on here in the United States. Now, obviously, with thinking about 4th of July, and actually I don't normally think about this anyway, but sometimes you kind of say, hey, why not? Okay, this is great. How can you forget that on the 4th of July you have the ever popular hot dog eating contest that goes on in New York? Yes, folks, the hot dog eating contest. Now, we had the incumbent and the winner, Joey Chestnut, who beat Kobayashi, who I guess the previous year, and because he was a jerk and didn't want to sign some commitment letter to the National Food League, I believe. I'm trying to get down the name here. I can't believe that they actually have a league. My God. But they have a league, folks, where they're going to say, you're committed to us, you're going to be here, and you're going to only compete with us and no one else. But it's Major League Eating. And what happened is, folks, is that they had the National Eating Contest, and Joey Chestnut became the winner again for the second year in a row, and we're very, you can't say, how can you not forget saying, hey, Day of Independence, you can't forget with mom, hot dogs, baseball, and apple pie. And of course, we had some games going on, but you can't forget Joey Chestnut winning the National Hot Dog Eating Contest, brought to you by Nathan's Hot Dogs. And of course, he enjoyed I believe a $10,000 award and a mustard-colored belt, saying that he is the champion eater. So we congratulate him. Where probably right now he is doing some other stuff, trying to relieve himself of all the food that he ate. 65 hot dogs. I'm a big guy. I'm not gonna say, you're looking at the video of me, and you're probably like, man, that guy's a big guy, and I am. I'm. To quote Gabriel Iglesias, I'm fluffy. I'm a little, round as a shape. I'll tell you that much right now. Round as a shape, but I couldn't eat 65 hot dogs. That's just whoa. Maybe a little too much for me, and maybe too much for my cholesterol and whatnot. So I'm actually looking at some stuff here, and so we're looking at some information here. I've just got a text message, and I'm trying to figure out what is going on with the whole text message, and we're going to continue on with the program, folks. But of course, with patriotism going on, we have some other great stuff that was going on, and I wanted to bring this up because it's an El Paso story, and it's just, you got to love those stories. You got to love those moments where you have older women or older people that are fighting for the right to wave the flag, to be able to say, hey, I'm an American, or I'm proud to be an American, and I want to be able to do this. But we have a lady in El Paso, and the story came out yesterday on the El Paso Times, with Leonor Valadez, who lives in some housing complex in central El Paso, close to downtown, where she enjoys her flag. She enjoys her showing her patriotism, and she likes to have her flag flown out there. And she had a couple of situations where she wanted to, in fact, raise the flag, but due to some technical difficulties, the apartment complex that she was at, or the housing complex that she was at, either didn't have a flag. There was a couple of problems either with the rope or whatever the case may be, and lo and behold, she fought for 2 years to try to get this flag up and running, and they helped her out, and it was great. What happened, folks, is that I'm going to go straight off of here. She was actually born in Alpine, Texas, which, if you're not familiar with Alpine, Texas, it's a small little town. Just a really small town. It's more like a retirement community, more than anything else now than it was 85, 60 years ago, it was more along the lines of a farming community. And there's still some farming, but obviously, with progress and the like, it's kind of there. If I wanted to retire to a place, that would probably be the best place to go. But what happened is that she wanted to, like I said, she wanted to have her flag flown. There was a problem with the pole that was there that they have that allows them to wave the flag or to have the flag, and there was a problem with the rope. They had to get the rope fixed. They had to do a couple of other things. And this is the part that kind of gets me. She goes to her congressman and says, "Hey, Congressman Reyes, hey, I've got a problem here. I want to have a flag here, but no one's allowing me to, so what are you going to do?" And he gets her a sticker to go outside of her window and say, "Okay, here's your flag. Here's your flag. Go ahead and do it." She has a flag. She has the opportunity to wave this flag wherever she wants to. And I believe she had also done that at one point, but someone allegedly stole the flag. Now she's got another one, and they're saying, okay, the housing complex is saying, okay, well, we don't have a flag. We can't do this for you this year. So she went back to her house and said, "Here's my flag. Use this flag." And so now she has an opportunity to fight. She fought for her opportunity to have a flag. She has the flag, and we applaud her for her patriotism. We applaud her for her dedication for being an American citizen. 86 years old, folks. 86. And she is that dedicated to her country. She's that dedicated. And to be able to say, "I want my flag up in the air." And they did. They honored her point. They said, "Okay, here you go. Thank you very much." And people have commended her for that. One of the things that and we're gonna kind of tie all this in later on, and you're gonna try to figure out why I'm doing this. We had some people that were applauding for her actions, and I have actually one friend on Facebook that posted on here by the name of Sammy, who reminded everybody that patriotism and the feeling of Americana, if you will. Well, patriotism and the feeling of being an American is not racial. It's not racially divided. It's not a racial issue. It's not a gender division or whatever. It's an American feeling that people have, that they get to enjoy being identified as an American and being able to say, my family had members who served in the military, and because they served in the military, and because I have friends that served in the military, and because I have friends, and I have fellow Americans who served in the military, they gave me the right to wave my flag and post it up the highest flagpole and be able to post pictures of the flag on wherever I want to, because that is the right that was given to me thanks to the selfless acts of the United States soldiers and for those that have fought for the liberties and for people that had given us the right to do that. So we commend her. We commend this woman. We commend Leonor for her patriotism and for her honor for being an American. And I mean, I don't know how else can you congratulate or be able to say, "Hey, that's great." You can say, "Hey, that's great," but is that enough? You've just got to say, "Damn, that's just beautiful." I don't care whatever religion or race or whatever you come from. That's just awesome. That is just fantastic to have people want to be able to show their love of America, and especially on 4th of July. And it's just phenomenal stuff, folks. I'm just. I don't know how much can you gush over that stuff. Now and on all this stuff, you have people that are saying, I'm patriotic, I'm going to wave my flag, I'm going to do this. I've got another story for you that came out of Utah, and it involves the voting process. It involves the right for people to make a selection and make a decision as to whether or not something's good or bad on this day. In Salt Lake City, or the story's coming out of Salt Lake City, but there's a gentleman who has an 18-inch mustache. That's right, 18-inch mustache. It probably looks like a Fu Manchu or handlebars that are going on. He has been growing this probably for about a year and a half or so. And what happened is that his wife does not like the mustache. And this mayor, his name is Dan Snar. he has decided to come up with this great idea to decide whether or not he should keep his mustache. And you just gotta love this the way this works out. Okay, he enjoys his mustache. His wife says no, because it, I guess, pokes and prods her in the middle of the night, and everything's all fine and dandy. He doesn't care because he doesn't feel it. She does, and she's mad. Okay, great. And him saying, well, I'm the mayor, so let the people decide. So what he did today, he did this on 4th of July, at a 4th of July parade. He went out, and he's standing around in his car or walking around, and everybody, he's waving, saying hi to everybody, and saying, hey, vote for me next November or whenever in the world it is. And what was going to happen was this: people were recording the parade, and based on the visual responses on this on the people that attended this parade, either by thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever the case may be, they are going to decide whether or not this mayor Snar, should keep his mustache. And I'm like, well, that's a great way to figure out how to do this. Now, granted, he is the mayor, and he's, the will of the people is kind of prevalent. But, I come from a time where the will of the missus makes the final determination as to whether or not I should do something that makes her happy or doesn't make her happy. I have, on occasion, have had a mustache and have had the goatee action going on. And it's cool. I don't have a problem with that. It kind of saves time on me shaving. I don't have to worry about shaving the upper lip and shaving the chin and worry about paper cuts or cuts when I'm shaving or whatever. But sometimes it gets a little bristly and sometimes it gets a little itchy. And it gives me that time whenever I'm moving my, running my hand on my chin. It gives me that look like I'm thinking about something, even though I'm trying to scratch. And people are like, "Are you thinking?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And I'm really not saying that I'm scratching because I have an itch. But I fall under the premise that if I'm comfortable with it, hey, I like it. But if the missus isn't happy with it, and the missus doesn't like it, I'm stopping. And obviously, I don't keep the mustache, I don't keep the facial hair on because, I listen. I don't want to say I listen, but my wife is my best friend and my partner in life, and I want to respect her decision as much as possible. And sometimes we may agree or disagree, but overall, she is the one that has to kiss me. Give my daughter kisses on the cheek or whatever, but my wife is the one that does have to kiss me, and of course I want to keep her happy. And as I like to say, to quote Bugs Bunny, or actually Humphrey Bogart on the Bugs Bunny cartoon, if Rabbit Baby wants, Rabbit Baby gets. And of course, I'm going to shave the sucker off and make sure that my wife is as happy as hell. Now, if she wants me to grow it back, then I'll grow it back. But, I'll do what I can to make her as comfortable as possible, especially when I'm trying to kiss her and say, I love you and all that fun stuff. Of course, the mayor's trying to say, well, let's go ahead and use this as a publicity stunt and let's decide what's going on. Now, we haven't gotten the decision yet, but and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool that he's having this function, or having this method to decide whether or not he's going to keep the mustache or not. And I think for all intents and purposes, if he knows what's best for him, he is going to say that the public spoke and he's going to shave that mustache. Just my suggestion to you, Mayor Snar, just get rid of it and just say, okay, the people have spoken, and I, love my wife, and I don't want to upset her dearly because I love my wife. So I would just suggest that he does it. But anyway, that's just me. Now, moving on. Obviously, 4th of July, you get to experience a lot of stuff. You get to experience parades. You get to see, people with their classic cars on occasion driving out down the roads and everything else. And you get to see those classic cars in the parades. And you get to have some great marathons. And it was an interesting article that I found today because, in the line of patriotism, in the line of the Americana, in the line of Independence Day, on the Blaze website, which is theblaze.com, they have a 4th of July special, and they are identifying the 76 most American things ever. And it's pretty, I looked through this, and if you get a chance, if you go to theblaze.com, take a look at it. And we actually have it on my page, the Common Man Show, which is facebook.com/The Common Man Show. And they've got an interesting list. Now, I'm going to go through the top 10, and then I'm going to give you some extra items that are in here that may be of interest to everybody, because I don't know if this is actually a correct listing in that particular order. Now, I'm assuming that it's not a particular order, but they put them in kind of hodgepodge, I guess. But if they are saying that this is ranked number 1 through number 76, then they've got some stuff that they have to work on, because some of those things aren't just right. Now, obviously, the number 1 item is obviously the American people. It's you and I, folks. We are the most American item or thing on the list, just because of our ingenuity and our greatness that we've been able to accomplish here in the United States. Number 2, they have it as the Constitution. Number 3 is winning. And for some reason, I feel very Charlie Sheen by saying winning. I don't know why. But they post a picture of Iwo Jima where they're raising the flag. Number 4 is baseball. Number 5 is Coca-Cola. Okay. I can go for Dr. Pepper personally. Number 6 is the resolve. Obviously our determination to recover after any type of tragedy. And they have images of Pearl Harbor and 9/11, where they have for the 9/11 photo, they have the firefighters that are raising up the flag, and Iwo Jima, and for Pearl Harbor, they have images of the bombing that went on, which helped us get into World War II. Mount Rushmore is number 7. Number 8 is the Statue of Liberty. Number 9 is George Washington. And number 10 is the Second Amendment. Now, they have some other interesting stuff in here. Number 11 is Cowboys. And I'm going to go through some of this stuff here. Hot Dogs Fall is number 12. 13 is Kentucky Bourbon, Tennessee whiskey. 15 is bacon, and you can't go wrong with bacon, okay? Now, probably should have been a little bit higher, but that's just me. Rock and roll 17, blue jeans. Rock and roll is 16, blue jeans is 17, skyscrapers is 18, and I'm just going through some of the stuff here. Cadillacs are 20. Johnny Cash is 21 as the most American thing. And I'm scrolling through in here, folks. Religious freedom is number 25. 26 is jazz music. Movies or the silver screen is number 27. 28 is the U.S. Marine Corps. 29 is NASCAR. I don't see why it's that high. And you got to love this one, okay? McDonald's is number 30. I don't know, Burger King, come on. And but McDonald's, it has its point. 32 is Route 66. Oil is 34. 35 is Uncle Sam. 36 is New Year's at the Times Square. 38 is Harley Davidson. Disneyland is number 40. Apple pie is 42. Bugs Bunny is 44. And it goes through in here. You have your cheeseburgers. 40-hour work week is 47. Budweiser is 48, which is kind of interesting. PB&J's is 49. Buffalo wings. You can't go wrong with buffalo wings. I guess it's an American thing. Is also 51. U.S. Army and the U.S. Navy is 52, which they probably should have been a little bit higher, personally. Going through this stuff here, folks. 54 is multiculturalism. Okay, that's cool. That works. Southern hospitality is 56. The internet. We got to thank Al Gore for the creation of the internet. They're number 58. 59 is superheroes, and you can't forget. With number 59 with superheroes, you can't forget Captain America. If you heard me on Sunday's program of the Common Man Show, where I just raised holy hell on what was going on with the Supreme Court, I made a couple of references to Captain America and the Stolen Valor Act. The middle class is number 62. Drive-ins is 63. And for those how many of you guys actually remember drive-ins? I can remember of going to them. I think I actually took my daughter to one or two of them before they were closed down. But you don't see the drive-ins anymore. They were just a great time where you can actually spend time with family, significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, making out or watching a movie, telling the people in the car behind you to quit rocking the car because of all the stuff that they were doing, or actually peeping in while they're doing whatever they were doing because they were doing what they were doing. And of course, the ever popular thing that we used to do in El Paso, and you guys probably won't admit to it, but when you were driving in your big old car, your big old Buick or your big old Cadillac, you had people stuck in the trunk of the car just because you didn't want to pay. You didn't want to pay for the extra people. Come on, you can't say that you never did that. I didn't do that, but I know one of my brothers did, and it was pretty damn funny. 66 was antiperspirant deodorant, and you got to thank the Americans for that part because, man, there's some really stinky people. 68 is donuts. Muscle cars comes in at 69. John Deere is 70. Football. American football is 71. And I hope this is not a ranking. I'm just hoping this is not a ranking because it's got to fall in somewhere above reality TV, which I think hit number 40. The Grand Canyon is at 72. You have barbecue, 73. Ellis Island at 75. Now here's the one that I don't get. John Wayne is ranked as number 76. Now for those that remember John Wayne back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s was considered the man's man. He was American as apple pie and baseball itself. Who doesn't remember watching a movie, with John Wayne on those weekends when you're kicking back with your family or whatever, watching them on TV. Now, granted, they all came out in the movies. You went out to the movies and you did your thing, but after they had their show, after they had their time on the silver screen, they went to movies or they went to TV eventually once TV had their spiel. And you can't, how can you put John Wayne at 76? My God, I mean, phenomenal. Okay, True Grit, right there would have said, hey, okay, number 10 at least. Okay, number 10 at least. And he probably should have been up there, right up with Ellis Island and American football. American football maybe 11, I don't know. But he should have been up there, If you guys have a chance, you got to watch those movies because they are just phenomenal. The Silent Man, I've got to put that one in there. The Silent Man, where he plays a boxer from England. Just great stuff. Just great American love stuff. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I mean, even now, I can still tell you the times that I would spend time with my wife and watching John Wayne on the AMC channel. We record as much as we can, and then we'd watch them, and we kick back or watch them while we're doing whatever. Just some great programming, and I can't believe that they put them so low. I'm just hoping that it's not the actual true listing, and we go from there. Now, folks, we are going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this program up because this is the 4th of July, and we want to give everybody time to prepare as they get ready to watch fireworks either on TV or continue with their grilling for their evening grills. And, if they're going out to an event to watch the fireworks display at wherever place in El Paso. I believe we have a few great places that are going on. I believe Wet 'n Wild having one, and we have a couple other places in downtown that are going to be having their fireworks display. Here in Austin, we've got a few places that are going to be having their momentous occasion. But I wanted to bring something up here, and I posted this also on the Common Man Show page. And I wanted to give you a little bit of information on this one here. And this was actually published today by a guy named Van Hip on the Fox website. It's an opinion piece. And I wanted to go over some of the stuff in here because I think it's actually some great information about being an American. And his title of the story is What It Means to Be an American This 4th of July. And it's time, once again, that we pause, and I'm going off of the article, that we pause and step back and assess who we are, what we have, and how we got it. Upon some reflection, the answer seems clear. We are Americans. We have freedom. We have it because we fought and died for it. In a speech at Hickman Air Force Base in 1984, President Ronald Reagan, praising the bravery and the valor of the American fighting man, quoted an admiral who had asked the question, "Where do we find such men?" Then President Reagan continued on, "We find them where we have always found them when we need them, on the main streets and the farms of America." Today, the 4th of July is often associated with fireworks, barbecues, and family get-togethers. It is also a time to reflect on what it means to be an American and the sacrifices made by those to secure the freedoms we have today. Fortunately for us, during America's darkest hours, God has consistently blessed us with ordinary people who do extraordinary things, including making the ultimate sacrifice to secure and maintain our freedom. While July 4th, 1776 marks the day that we declared our independence from British rule, our independence, and yes, our very freedom, was far from secure. In fact, the infant republic was hanging on by a thread for several years thereafter. With our troops starving and freezing to death, it wasn't really until the Battle of Cowpens that things began to turn for the Americans. At the Battle of Cowpens, rugged backwoods settlers, including many Scottish-Irish who had come to America seeking freedom, teamed up with General Daniel Morgan's Continental Regulars. The Americans turned the tide and defeated the British at Cowpens on January 17, 1781. Thus began the long retreat for British forces, which culminated in Cornwallis's surrender at the Battle of Yorktown later that year. The British troops finally left America in 1783, and our freedom was finally secure, at least for a little while. And it goes on, folks, and I this is just beautiful stuff. You've got to read it. You've got to read it. There's some phenomenal stuff, and I do want to add this last piece as we go on here. I don't want to go through the whole story, but there's some I want to read the last part of this opinion piece for you. As we entered the 21st century, America was presented with a new challenge to its freedoms and the very way of life, the rise of Islamic terrorism, and we saw the heroics of America's first responders on 9/11, and once again, too, we saw literally thousands and thousands of young Americans volunteer to serve their country and be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to preserve and maintain our freedoms. President Reagan was right. Young Americans have always answered the call of the country and any and all challenges. From the ill-clothed, half-frozen militia men at Valley Forge to the brave Marines on the sands of Iwo Jima to our military heroes in Iraq and Afghanistan, the verdict is in. Freedom is more important than life itself. Today, let us remember what we have, how we have got it, and what it means to be an American. And folks, as you continue on and you enjoy today's day, you know, it's a great time to reflect, as the article says, about how we got here, how we have done what we've done here, how we started off as a small country, or as a small independent country, breaking away from British rule on a foreign land, and moving to where we're at today, where we still have challenges from individuals who are trying to do wrong against us in some fashion. And obviously 9/11 was a big challenge for us, and we rose to the challenge, and we've done what we've done. And each and every single day we try to give thanks and our applause to what our military and what our military has done for us to try to help us out with being able to maintain the freedom that we have now. So as you enjoy the rest of the evening, or as you enjoy the remainder of the 4th of July, please remember that, you know, freedom isn't free. And you know, this stuff that we do isn't free. The times that we get to spend here is because we had people that sacrificed their lives to allow us to be able to speak the way we speak, and to be able to say what we got to say, just to make our day just a little bit better. Now, before I go, I do want to make one last little piece, because I do want to obviously give out or present the Chata Award. And you're probably wondering, well, why in the world are you doing this? Well, there's a real distinct reason why. You know, in reading the stuff that was going on today, I got to see some stuff that went on Twitter. And of course, we have people that are saying, you know, yay America, yay us, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, who are we rooting for? America, America, yay, type thing. But of course, you have those individuals that like to poke fun about America and what they've gone through, and you have individuals that are saying, yeah, okay, great, they're celebrating, and these are people from foreign countries that are saying, yeah, okay, they're celebrating America, big whoa type thing. But today we like to present a special award to an entertainer who rightfully so deserves this award because he's a jerk. But anyway, especially on today's day, okay. Today, we like to present the Chata Award to one person who probably should have learned to shut the F up. And that goes out to Chris Rock. And you're probably wondering, Chris Rock, right? Okay, first of all, some people are probably saying, who's Chris Rock? Well, Chris Rock is an entertainer here in the United States, has done some okay movies, has done some pretty good comedy shows, and he has his own Twitter handle. And he posted this early this morning, where on Twitter, he announced, "Happy White People's Independence Day. The slaves weren't free, but I'm sure they enjoyed fireworks." And I saw that, and I'm like, really? You're going to argue about the progression of American history? Yeah, we had people that weren't free, and they were black, or African American, or whatever you want to call them. But keep in mind that when we started this country, we had a form of white slavery by the term of indentured servants, which, as the way it worked out, you had people that came to the United States that were working on property, and they working on lands, and the landowner said, okay, we're going to keep you here for X amount of time. You're going to supposedly pay me back, and once you're done, you're free to do whatever you're going to do. Sometimes it always didn't work out, okay? And of course, during the progression, you had people who decided to capitalize, I guess, if you will, or take advantage of very rough country in Africa, where people were bringing slaves to the United States. And keep in mind that it was black people enslaving black people when it first started. And it progressed that way. And of course, obviously, we had our years where we had slavery. We had people that agreed to it, people that didn't agree to it, and whatnot. And eventually, within time, the Americans wised up and said, okay, we've got to stop this. And they stopped. And they ended the cause of slavery, and we've progressed. Let me put it this way, folks. We have progressed from the time 236 years ago, when the United States was officially born, to now. We have progressed to such a great length where people have an opportunity to do what they can and be popular, do what they can and raise a family, do what they can and do programs such as this, or do nothing at all. It's the opportunity for them to do great things or not so great things, and that's what this country is all about. We have the opportunity, and granted, I can say that, yeah, he's probably meaning it as a comedic joke or whatever the case may be, but sometimes the comedy should be left on the stage, and sometimes comedy should be left on a note. But when you're degenerating the actions of soldiers and the actions of people who fought for people like Chris Rock to do what they do, sometimes it's not always the best thing to say, especially on this day. So to Chris Rock, we'd like to thank you and present you with the Chata Award. And sometimes, folks, and I'll just put it to you this way, Chris Rock, just sometimes you need to learn to shut the F up. But folks, we're going to go and wrap things up today. We're very glad and very proud to have you guys here with us. We thank you for spending time with us as we continue on with the Common Man Show program. We're going to be on next week. We're going to, I believe, once we have the confirmation, we may have a very special guest calling in from El Paso as we talk about some great stuff that's going on in El Paso, folks. I can't thank you guys enough for spending time with us. I can't thank you guys enough for listening to us on your mobile device or on your computer. Folks, I hope you have a great 4th of July, and I hope you have a great remainder of the week. We're going to see you guys this coming Sunday on All Digital Radio as we continue on the conservative talk from a common man perspective. So thank you again for spending time with us. And we also want to thank the Scoop in El Paso for the continued support of the Common Man Show. Without all of you guys, this program would not be made possible. Folks, this is the Common Man Show coming to you from the inner sanctum sanctorum. Please be careful when you go out tonight. And we will see you guys on All Digital Radio on Sunday and here on Ustream, same time, same channel, next week. You guys take care. Bye-bye.